Hi everyone, I just wanted to show you some of the things that I use when I am journaling or making a mini zine. So you can see I've got a whole range of things here, but I'm just going to move them out of the way and go through one at a time the kind of things I use. So this is just a catalogue that I get through the post from David Austin, who do roses, amazing roses by the way. I've looked at these catalogues and there's so much that you can just cut or tear out of there. And another thing that you can use for your journaling or for your zines is any kind of magazine that comes through the door. I get that one free with the RHS. I've managed to get catalogues as well. So a lot of these ones come from high street stores or Christmas catalogues even. And what I do is I look for things that not necessarily I like the pictures of, but like this one here, the kind of colour schemes they have. So with this one, I really liked the deep reds, and I can just tear bits off. And I like to use the teared effect in my zines. If you've seen my zines before, you'll see a lot of this effect. And yeah, just going through, I have lots of different ones, different colour schemes, things that I might be able to use as backgrounds or accents when I'm making a zine. I loved this bit, fabrics and fairy tales. That's actually inspiring me to make a new zine at the moment, so watch this space for that one. Okay, so some of the other things I might look at, I go to charity shops and I pick up books. So this comes from a picture book that actually was one of mine that I read with the children. This is from the same one, and the children have grown out of it now. So just using some of the colour schemes from there, abstract pictures. This one here that I've just put down, I'll talk about in a minute. This is Doctor on Toast. I've literally never read this book. I found it in a charity shop for about 50p. I just thought the front cover was amazing. I wanted to use the spine, the front, those inside flaps, and then I just take out pages as well from those books because I find them really good just to tear down. And then I can put them as a background instead of just having a white background, or I can use it for emphasis as well. So I've been really pleased with those kind of charity shop finds. If you go to any kind of charity shop, they have a whole range of fiction and non-fiction. Another thing I like to do that you can just see me doing here, a bit of blackout poetry. Sure, you've seen this online before. You just pick out some words, make a sentence or a phrase, and then I'm using one of my pens to just black out everything else. I'm just showing you a little bit here. I would do more if I was then going to use it in my zine, but it's a lovely way to just have something different to look at. Now this book, oh my gosh, this was a hardback Mighty Boosh book. I don't know if you've seen Mighty Boosh before. I absolutely love it. It's a bit insane, but just from that, there's so many different things that actually I wanted to put this one in a junk journal. That's why it's folded. But so many different things that you can just rip, tear, cut, add emphasis. And also from that book, the fonts are amazing. I just cut up lots of different letters. So I've used these letters for headings, like in some of my zines. I've also cut up words and phrases. So some of them end up looking a little bit like ransom note if I just use the letters. But the words, they're perfect to add with my normal handwriting when I'm making a zine. Okay, so this is again still books that I've got from charity shops, but I've just used some of these sprays. So this is a Dilution spray. I just have yellow, blue, pink and brown at the moment. I'm kind of just starting out with those kind of sprays and experimenting. But you can see how I sprayed close, further apart, mixing some colours. And this is just on some graph paper that I had in the house. And I just found the brown especially just made it look a little bit more aged, so I could use that to make my zines look a bit more interesting, a bit different. These are things that I've just found around the house. So with some sewing magazines, you quite often get sewing patterns. Now I've used this sewing pattern and cut it out to be the exact measurements I want. But even when you've cut out what you need, there's still bits left over. So this is part that I'm keeping but you'll see that inside the envelope, there's still lots of different pieces. I quite like sewing patterns for using in junk journaling and zines because the paper is usually a little bit thinner, a bit off-white. I like those colours. And here, just loads of playing cards. Now, these ones I love for the background and for the front too. I got a pack of Sea of Thieves playing cards. That's an online game, if you're interested. My husband got them free. But yeah, I love the king. Pirate King looks amazing. And then this is another pack of cards I just bought off Amazon. These are Xbox themed. So a little bit different to normal. You can use them just, you know, as a background to then put a picture on maybe. And then things from old games that we have. So you might recognise these as Monopoly Money. And then playing cards. Oh my gosh, I used to love this game. It was called Taxi, and my husband managed to find a copy of the game in a local charity shop. But look at the illustrations on these cards. They're just insane. I think they're extremely 70s, especially if you look at some of the names. But good to use, you know, something a little bit different. This was from another card game that I bought for my son. I quite like the fact that they've got letters on the back of the card, so you can use those. But, you know, rip them up, tear them apart, cut out words. And these are stamps. So when I've had things delivered to me from other countries, there's some American stamps there. Christmas cards. How many Christmas cards do we get each year? I just save the fronts of them, maybe do a bit of fussy cutting. They're really nice. Sometimes not even for a Christmas themed zine. Sometimes you can just use the colours. And then finally, a colouring book I had. I coloured these in using my pens. Oh, yep, found another stamp. Sorry, guys. Backs of stamps too, the envelopes. Brilliant. Sorry, random. Back to the colouring book. I've coloured these in using my art pens. You can use normal felt tips, to be honest. It doesn't matter. You can see I cut out a section there. They're really good. And this randomly sent to me with a swap that I did. So this comes from North America. But I love the fact that it says here Northern Lights. I'm thinking I can definitely use that for a zine. But even just cutting bits out, I might use that picture. So there's all sorts of things that I've been able to find around the house. And of course, you can make your own things too. So for this one, I got lots of random offcuts from patterned paper. I've glued them all together. Then I've used this pen here. So this was a Jane Davenport ink pen. And I used that to create the inside section. And then a white gel pen over the top, just for something a bit different, and I can cut that down. This, I love experimenting. So the white lines are with washi, and then I've watercoloured over the top and used a black fine liner to make those flower pictures. And then this one is just me doodling with embroidery. So I've got some embroidery thread. I didn't even draw beforehand. I just went and saw where it goes. But I really like the idea of that with my things. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing those. Thank you ever so much for watching the video. I'll see you again soon. Bye.